listen at least 200 times fast. Remember, IBG guarantees rapid progress for champions to turn this nation around. It's right here on 91.9 FM every Thursday morning at 11:50. For more info, call 336-3896. 725 READ.
Come talk with us.
Realest News, Hard Talk.
Real talk on the street, 919 FM.
News from the street, 919fm.com. Here's what's happening.
Good afternoon. I am Vanessa Thomas with the 12 o'clock news on the Street 919 FM and online Facebook and YouTube. Sponsored by the Sea Champion in the headlines, police investigate illegal quarry in Valencia. Amended sailing times for inter-island services announced. Road work along the Southern Main Road begins from Monday. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania test positive for the coronavirus. And now the news in detail. Police are investigating an illegal quarry in Valencia. A statement from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service said between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Wednesday, officers from the multi-agency task force comprising the TTPS, Forestry and State Lands Department, the Minerals Department of the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, the Licensing Authority and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration conducted inquiries in the Valencia district in response to reports of illegal quarrying. The TTPS said whilst in the Pine Road area, the task force took possession of a huge mound of recently quarried sand exceeding 100 feet in height. The TTPS said inquiries are continuing to prosecute offenders. The Trinidad and Tobago Inter-Island Transportation Company has announced that the sailing time for the Jar de la Valette and the Cabo Star have been changed. From October 3rd, tomorrow, the Jar de la Valette will depart Scarborough, Tobago at 8:30 a.m. and not 6:30 a.m. as previously scheduled. The returning sailing time from Port of Spain remains at 4 p.m. on Saturdays. And on Sunday, October 4th, the Cabo Star's 12:30 p.m. sailing from Port of Spain and 11 p.m. sailing from Scarborough are cancelled due to urgent repairs to the vessel's turbo changer. Drivers are advised that all vehicles must be discharged from the Cabo Star by 7 a.m. on Saturday, October 3rd, upon the vessel's arrival in Port of Spain. Affected passengers are not required to revalidate their ferry tickets. Drivers are advised of roadworks along the Southern Main Road from Monday, October 5th to November 30th. The Ministry of Works and Transport in its latest update said that the roadworks are scheduled to take place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. along the Southern Main Road from Rosilac to Point Fortin. The ministry said the disruption is necessary to facilitate patching works. In light of this, drivers are advised to proceed with caution and observe directional signs and barriers, to drive at a reduced speed near the work zone, and to comply with instructions from police officers. The ministry apologized for any inconvenience caused. Internationally, the U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife, the First Lady Melania Trump, have tested positive for the coronavirus and are now self-isolating. Trump, aged 74 and therefore in a high-risk group, wrote on Twitter, "We will get through this together." The announcement comes after Hope Hicks, one of Trump's closest aides, tested positive, and just over a month before the presidential elections on the 3rd of November, where he faces Democratic challenger Joe Biden. Ms. Hicks, 31, traveled with Mr. Trump on Air Force One to the first presidential TV debate with Mr. Biden in Ohio on Tuesday. Mr. Biden is also being tested. The coronavirus has infected more than 7.2 million Americans, killing more than 200,000 of them. And that was the 12 o'clock news on the Street 919 FM and online Facebook and YouTube, sponsored by the Sea Champion. Recapping the headlines: police investigate illegal quarry in Valencia. Amended sailing times for inter-island services announced. Road work along the Southern Main Road begins from Monday, and internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania test positive for the coronavirus. Stay tuned for sport news with Jason Shields on the Street 919 FM, a news update at 2 and major news at 4. I am Vanessa Thomas. To enjoy your afternoon.
News from the street. News from the street. 919.
Out. Come to and don't delay. He gave us free salvation by dying on the cross. If you come to Jesus, all your sins are lost. I'm bound to give him glory. I'm bound to give him praise. I'm bound to give him glory. I'm bound to give him praise. Now I look into a future of life abundantly, walking on the streets of hope and singing jubilee. The one who deliverance and boast about his grace. I'm bound to give him glory. I'm bound to give him praise. I'm bound to give him glory. I'm bound to give him praise. To you who don't know Jesus, I sing for you today. You don't know what you are missing out. Come to him, don't delay. He gave us free salvation by dying on the cross. If you come to Jesus, my all your sins are lost. I'm bound to give him glory, I'm bound to give him praise. I'm bound to give him glory, I'm bound to give him praise. I'm bound to give him glory, I'm bound to give him praise. I'm bound to give him glory, I'm bound to give him praise. If you really, really love the king, why not lift your voice and sing? Come on, lift your hands, stamp your feet. Come on, praise him to the beat.
Right, Trinidad and Tobago, so we're back with you. I'm going to say great. They don't say great.
The DSS.
Yeah, you. Oh, man. Trinidad and Tobago, just reminding you Friday night. Friday, the 2nd of October, which is tonight, 8 p.m., Calypso night with Calypso Rio, boy.
Hey, Rio.
Yeah, you know Rio?
Yeah. How old Rio is now?
I don't even know. So tonight is Calypso Rio on Iowa Stage. Be a part of it. Iowa Stage will be live on the Street 919 FM Facebook page, Neil Iowa George Facebook page, and Iowa TV. And so you could join them and be a part of it. Tune in and be a part of the dynamic series of concerts on Iowa Stage, one-on-one with the artists, supported by Tuku, taking care of business through our music, Pantrin Bago, and Hugh Store on Lady Hills Avenue, San Fernando.
Yeah.
Iowa Stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be a part of it this evening. But so last night, Wednesday night, we had Chara Nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wednesday night we had Chara Nurse, but Chara Nurse come and mash up the place, you know.
Hey,
Yeah. Jaron had about close to 1,000 and something people watching.
good.
Yeah. Jaron was really.
What is the interest in for foreigners? Like people living, Trinis living abroad there. Tune in.
Yeah. But I think with Jaron, there were a lot of youths. Boy. Yeah, he has that attraction for young people.
Right.
So a lot of young people were listening on Wednesday. Last night was Pan Night. Yeah. So, they said they take any carnival virtual.
Right. First, I just want to talk a little bit on the Errol Fabian issue.
Right.
Errol Fabian is our boy. That boy have me laughing for his whole life. Nigel Fabian, his brother, we know he had a situation there and stuff. And Fabian had a hard life. But then, he found himself, he founded Gael, and he was owing, based on what I read in the papers, $350,000, which is a very small percentage of what he paid back, but it just goes to show the banking system, how it works and operates. They are ruthless, all right? They don't really care about you, all right? A friend of mine working in the bank say, if you pay back 75% of your loan, they're not supposed to come and repossess your security, all right? But he was owing $350,000. And look how they operated. They didn't have nothing in place to secure this icon. Fabian is an icon, right? And the way they put the man out on the street and throwing things by the side of the road, what kind of old school nonsense is that? But fortunately, as I read, that he was able to raise the money and secure Gael. So, and that is why I'm not endorsing anything. That is why pyramid schemes will multiply in this country, because people will lose faith in the system. If the bank could do that to Errol Fabian, they could do it to you. It's 10,000 people lose their job in Petrotrin, all right? And thousands of other people. Look, Carl just laid off, Caribbean Airlines just laid off a whole set of thousands of people.
I have a friend who lost his job.
The bank coming for your assets, and they becoming richer and richer by seizing your assets, selling it as a profit, putting a ridiculous tax and interest on what you owe them, and then gaining the balance in your account. All right, so pyramid schemes will continue to grow, and I'm glad that the central bank governor came out and he gave 3 pointers how to know if to invest. He didn't say don't invest it, though. He said, but know the scheme, be prepared to lose your money in case anything happens.
But I explained one to you just now, and you understood how you can get that amount of money.
Yeah, it's possible. All right, but I am saying for the bigger schemes, all right, name your pyramid better now. That's like I start a susu, I call it the gun susu. Name it better now. That's all I say. Don't put a name that will make Gary jump out at you. Right? Because, and make sure that you are SEC, that's the Securities Exchange Commission. Make sure you are SEC certified and regulated. Make sure you are FIU, Financial Intelligence Unit certified. Set up a proper business. Let people come and sit down and take a little number like when they go in the bank. And sit down and wait. Have a car park. A car be parking all over La Roquette, a car parking all over the place. Do your thing properly and differently, and you will attract me. I will come. But don't have names that will attract anything. It have any bank entry, and I call the drugs bank.
No.
Good. And then I support, especially people of African descent, going out there, and I will put my money there. But do it properly now. Do it properly. Don't let these clunks come around, because they don't go around the bank, that is different. They don't go around UTC, that is different. But they'll come around you.
Right.
And they'll alert the authorities, because they'll say, we're supposed to make a profit. You know what kind of profit Republic Bank and them does make? 500 and something million after tax, And if they hear the millions going here, the millions going here, the millions going there, they must try to make it look as though, it's something illegitimate, but really and truly they can't do anything about it. And let me just say this to your listeners. With all the bank, you think the bank legitimate. There's something called deposit insurance. If you have $60 million in the bank and the bank folds tomorrow, as some have folded in the States, all you get is $125,000. It used to be $50,000. It is called depositors insurance. An insurance company will come and tell you, yes, we know you had $60 million in the bank, but all you could get is $125,000. So tell them to shut up and stop attacking the pyramid schemes when the biggest scheme in the world is the banks.
coming back, Trinidad and Tobago.
Is in me, and he that's in the world, greater you see that is in me, and he that's in the world. That's why around Christmas time for Remy to enjoy that life. Why? He greater than Satan, he greater than. He greater than Illuminati, he greater than. He greater than the carnival spirit, greater than. He greater than Shikunkunya, so we tell them this. Greater is he that is in me, than he that's in the world. Greater is he that is in me, than he that's in the world. Greater is he that is in me, than he that's in the world. That's why around Christmas time for Remy to enjoy their life. Greater is he that is in me, than he that's in the world. Greater is he that is in me, than he that's in the world. Greater is he that is in me, than he that's in the world. That's why around Christmas time for Remy to enjoy their life. Amen.
Jazzy, I'm going and make groceries. You still on that seafood diet, boy?
Yo, mommy, to tell you the truth, just bring a bag of fruits. Yo, this year, I play big man thing. I see a chef in mama kitchen. Mommy, go take a rest, cause you know we man hand is the best. She says, why you so, why you so? Why you so, why you so, why you so? Mommy, give me a chance, some faith and some temper. And she says, son, look a recipe book, I say, mom, I don't need to cook. Against this thing, there's no such law. Everything on the menu eating raw. She says, why you so, why you so? Why you so, why you so, why you so? Mommy, you will love it. I preparing fruit of the spirit. We walk in the spirit, not in the flesh. Walk in the spirit, not in the flesh. Walk in the spirit, not in the flesh. Prison with Christ, cause in his death says, why you so, why you so? Why you so, why you so, why you so? Mommy, give me a chance, some faith and some temper. And she says, why you so, why you so? Why you so, why you so, why you so? Mommy, you will love it. I preparing fruit of the spirit. You want joy, you want peace, you want faith. It's a fruit cocktail. You want love, you want meekness. For goodness sake, it's like a big fruit cake. Why you so, why you so? Why you so, why you so, why you so? Mommy, give me a chance, some faith and some temper. And she says, why you so, why you so? Why you so, why you so, why you so? Mommy, you will love it. I preparing fruit of the spirit. I want the love, that long suffering, covering. I'm a Judas sin, now the faith. Like Abraham who told Isaac, God will provide the lamb. Giant temperance in my heart. Goodness follow me, never depart. Gentle and just like a sheep. And the peace God give, the sweetest sleep. He say, why you so, why you so? Why you so, why you so, why you so? Mommy, give me a chance, some faith and some temper. And she say, why you so, why you so? Why you so, why you so, why you so? Mommy, you will love it. I preparing fruit of the spirit. We walk in the spirit, not in the flesh. Walk in the spirit, not in the flesh. Walk in the spirit, not in the flesh. Prison with Christ, cause in his death. You see, we still be belly full. This time from Galatians 5:22 to 23. Body rock, you all for me. Dream team, team Planet Brain. Salute team 107. Lion Twin. Hey. For a night again, we over, in Jesus we over big. I give there is nobody. In Jesus we over big. I give there is nobody. It's love when it can see me us. His grace, he can see me us. His mercy, he can see me us. That's why we go praise and lift them up. Well, the Lord of Lords, and the King of Kings. No for them a fraud, I'm the big like him. Holy is
blood, take away my sin. Be full of joy and make excited. Why? Cause it's a true love. Like it, there's no other. And if you want me in comparison, then don't even bother. Why? Cause we over, hey. Hey. We over, hey. Over, in Jesus we over big. Like him there is nobody. In Jesus we over big. Like him there is nobody. This love when it can't see me us. This grace, it can't see me us. This mercy, it can't see me us. That's why we go praise and lift him up. This love when it can't see me us. This grace, it can't see me us. This mercy, it can't see me us. That's why we go praise and lift him up. Listen, righteousness when we read that. Holiness when we read that. Godliness when we read that.
All right, Trinidad and Tobago. So we were just making sure that you can see us on Facebook. So you can just type in the Street 919 FM and join us on Facebook, send your messages, all right, and be a part of the discussion here. So we were talking about, well, you said Errol Fabian, and you shared your views on the situation.
Yeah.
And just pull on your mic a little bit there. Right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Errol Fabian, and we're talking about that situation there and how you felt about it.
Yeah.
All right? Well, we talk about the apology with Gary. We were supposed to take some calls and that because people wanted to share their view.
Right.
Disagree or agree with you.
With Gary.
With Gary.
Right.
Right? So we're taking some calls quickly and then we're going to talk about domestic.
Right.
Right? And then we will get into some other discussions here on the Street 919 FM. So join us now. Call us on 342-0081, 771-1791. 466-5391. All our foreign callers who were trying to get through a while ago, you can call us on 718-874-3860. And let's hear what you have to say. So I have in studio with me Pastor Mackenzie.
Yes. Yeah, I am.
It's interesting, you know.
Right.
This is interesting times. So yeah, as a preacher too, you know, there are some people who saying that they sit here, you know. Yeah, they sit here. Jesus gonna come 2 days, someday now. You go to what I just thought.
You want me to jump in?
Wait, you have a call on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
and also Pastor Mackenzie. I tried to get you on 2 occasions, and I was holding on, and you might not have realized just now and yesterday, and I didn't get through because I kept holding on and the conversation was going on. But nevertheless, I tend to agree with the last one of the callers concerning his apologies. In my view, is accepted. I think not everybody who is really God-driven would know the about forgiveness. Gary, somebody put in his own words that he said that he is being Gary. He never said so. So I think he was very genuine, honest. He said up front that he apologized to everyone. That was his first remark, you know. And I tend to disagree with the goodly Pastor Mackenzie about Dr. Rowley. I agree that he could have spoken to Gary by himself, but Dr. Rowley, if I stand corrected, was answering the news reports, the people, you know, concerning the events of things. So he was making his comment based on what people were saying in the news release to them. He was the reporters then, and that came up. So he was just saying that, but I guess he is right in the sense that he could have told him, put him aside and say that. But I just wanted to say his apologies is accepted. One last thing I felt, as I told you 2 days ago, you shouldn't have brought in his son and his family all into this. Some listeners, you know, they went as far as saying about his son, you know, I found that was kind of uncalled for. But anyway, continue the good work that you all are doing. I'm locked on and listening, so thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. You see, here the caller say,
yeah,
he was responding, and that's true. The question and the statements that Dr. Rowley would have made was the result of a question that was asked by a reporter. All right? Yeah. Oh man. So what you thought? What is your thoughts about this? These preachers and they who.
Yeah, well, with the COVID.
Yeah, and this whole last day events, everything that's.
Yeah, well, that's called in theological circles. That's called eschatology.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a theory that developed in the mid 19th century in the United States of America, where there was a movement called the Revivalist movement.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that movement, what we know as small churches here in Trinidad and Tobago were born. So you have the Seventh-day Adventist Church, you have the Church of God, Church of Christ in God, Church of God in Christ, the Pentecostals, the Evangelicals, the Presbyterians, the Moravians. You know, they were birthed about that time in mid-century America, the Jehovah's Witnesses. And if you look at the history, the Mormons, if you look at the history of all these churches, you'll see all of them came to life at between 1840 and 1870. All right? And they started pushing this end of time thing because that is not Catholic theology. Catholic theology does not promote an end of the world scenario, a Jesus is coming soon scenario. You know that, right?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, neither the Anglican Church. When last you hear the Pope say Jesus coming soon? Think about that. Think about that. Yeah, that is not Catholic theology. That is what you call mid-19th century Protestant revivalist theology. All right, that saw Christ coming to end all things, and with that you have the judgment and all of that. So this end of the world thing, that is a small church thing. Let us put it that way. And naturally, anytime there's an international crisis like 9/11 or now COVID-19, you would have people, the bandwagonists would jump on that and say Jesus is coming soon. Jesus say coming soon. 2,000 years he's supposed to come, he can't come back yet. I'll be disappointed if he come now. Because I want the world to learn the lesson that the kingdom of heaven is not to be found in buildings built with men's hands. The kingdom of God is within you. Stay home. Find God in your house. Serve him in spirit and in truth without going and submit yourself to the sayings of a man. And the lesson that church-going people have to learn is that pastors died from COVID.
I lived too.
Especially, me too. A lot of pastors died from COVID. How God could allow his servants to die? The pastors supposed to be the healers. This has thrown a lot of light, as far as I'm concerned, on these faith healers. Where's Benny Hinn? Where's Benny Hinn? Benny Hinn came down in Trinidad, right here in Trinidad, send down 2 containers 2 weeks in advance with wheelchairs. And telling the pastors, my friends worked in it, I never went because I knew he was a fake. Telling the pastors to make sure that the people who sitting in the wheelchairs, people who could stand up. Having them come on stage and they're making up all kind of illnesses. But where's Benny Hinn now to heal corona? Alright? So it's a strong lesson as far as I'm concerned that there's only one healer and that is God. And all these fellas jumping around and saying they're faith healers and all of that, we have to look at that again. Take a second look at that. All right? And understand that God is in control. What I like with Corona, I'm not saying I love it, but what I like with Corona is that it has taught the world and shown the world that the person you must trust in is God, not in man. That is my take on that.
Let's take a call. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor Google.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
I am here listening to the program with the gentleman there. That is the one we had there before talking about the apology.
Yes.
Oh, God, I could hug that man and give him a good old lady.
In Jesus' name.
Good old lady hugging an old lady kiss. Because me ain't looking for no man, so I can't say I want to hug him in that thing. That man, oh God, say I did don't go stay with the Pastor Google. Pastor Google, I don't know what people want, you know. You understand? I don't know what they want. How much time can you put that to say, she even apologized, I want you apologizing, nothing at all. Why they hang it down, God, with your faith? Or they give the man a chance, and you know what he said, he's always safe. But you know what is the problem, Pastor Google? It's a problem I have with people too. If the man tone, T-O-N-E, they can't stand. The man wanted to do a job. He wanted to big friends. He wanted to butter nothing, sugarcoat nothing. He said, you know, whatever he did to Dr. Rowley accepted that so Pastor Google.
Yes.
He accepted the apology. What I want? What I don't want? I don't want Gary to go, but Gary ain't going away, you know. He said right to prosecute all who have to be prosecuted. I don't give the man a chance. He wanted to go away to see his son. I think that might be the man only child if Pastor Google. Play football or whatever sport. Or they hung him down here, he can't go. Or they leave him the man, or they eat a bigger fish to fry in the sea, from the sea. Although they are harassing Gary Griffin, let the man do his job. Gary got to go. Gary ain't going nowhere. Stay right there. Only remember when I said Dr. Rowley ain't going nowhere. He stayed right there, and he's still there. Pastor Google, don't let the people out there make you sound like you were witch hunting Dr. Rowley. Because that's what they're doing, you know. That's what they're doing. They want to catch you in the loop. Or you wise out, after that is a praying soul. Keep on praying. You hear what I'm telling you?
Yes.
I love Pastor Google.
Thank you very
I love
much.
it bad.
Yeah. So this was good.
Yeah, you know, so the well, she responded to the whole Gary Griffith issue, and I share her sentiments. You know, I'm saying the man is doing his job, and it's because he's doing a good job he's being victimized. Remember who was there before? Good. Well, there was Stephen Williams back.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pastor.
Good afternoon.
Boy, my phone didn't have much money. I'm glad to hear to know you come back. But I hear something just now about Ben Haynes. Pastor, that man is a big fraud.
Well, let's not talk about Ben, you know. Let's not talk about Ben. Let me talk about our business. Let me talk about our business.
I know. I had to tell her we have fool people. I have a lady friend. Her husband has prostrate. He came down here 2 years back to heal people. The man went in the meeting. He paid $600 to get in. When the man started prayers, he said, there's a man here tonight with pain, get up. The poor man gets up with the pain. He tells him, sit down, not you. So the man who was sitting next to him, he also want to get up. He have no pain. Pastor, he's a big fraud. But I got to know he'll come back out and to pray for you night and day. I even call a bishop, ask him to pray for you. Because I wanted to come out back in Jesus' name to let the people know what God have done for you, and there is a God.
Thank you very much.
So, God bless you and keep you. May God bless you. Present his name. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, so we wanted to touch on domestic violence.
Right.
I know that you have a passion to deal with this situation that we face from time to time. You do your videos, you do your blogs, you try to encourage men to man up, you try to tell men, here what, not every situation they need to respond to and know how to basically live with a woman.
Right.
If you're living with a woman and you all can't make it, you give advice and you give marriage counseling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to weigh into this situation that has been plaguing our country for some time now, where some of these brothers, one texter said some of these brothers can't take talk.
They can't take talk.
Yeah, they can't take talk. Then the woman and them get them back chat, they can't take it. I'll give you a scenario. I'll give you a story. We in COVID-19 crisis.
Right.
A young man working, but he's not bringing in the amount of money that he used to. He would have lost significant income.
Right.
But he paying light bill and rent. But he not buying food.
Right. Right.
He paying light bill.
He paying rent, he not buying food.
He not buying any food. He has a wife and a child.
You have a wife and a child.
He's paying light bill, rent, no food.
Because he don't have the money.
He's paying light bill.
And he paying rent.
He paying rent.
But he ain't buying no food.
He's buying no food.
How food coming in the house?
So the wife said to him, you need to balance this thing properly. Because I lost my job, I'm trying to get back another job. If the light bill is 500, if you pay T and take 3, we owe them 2, we take 2, we buy food. He wasn't doing that. He was paying off light bill, paying rent, no food. One day she called her friends, male friends, said to them, "Hear what? We have no food home. I need some food. I need help." And one of the guys came and dropped off a little 500. She went in the grocery and she bought food. He came home and there was food. He didn't ask how the food reached. Again, he did the same thing again. Pay light bill, rent. She called her man friend again. He came with Pampers, milk, everything for the child. And gave she 1,000 and she went and buy food again. That right?
If what is right? For her to have her male friends come and dropping off food? Well, she need food, she had to eat. So the guy had to get his priorities right and know how to manage his money better so he could be responsible for purchasing food.
Right. And one day, she turned and she tell him, "Yeah, what's going on now? The food you're eating there. And next man bring that money for you to eat that, you know." And he turned and he say, "Well, if them so stupid to bring money for me to eat, then let them continue."
Yes, some men will take that position for a while.
Until the man who bring any money for the food send you a text and say, "Here now, I love you, you know."
Sure, eventually it will come.
And then the man turned and he saw the text. And he want to go crazy, ballistic, he want to kill, he want to murder people because how a man could send you that he love you. How you would deal with that?
So I would deal with that?
Yeah. What you would tell him? What you would tell them?
Well, tell the couple? No, well, the man have to understand that the woman is acting out of necessity to have a child. And I'll tell you something, women don't put their children above any man. The children is priority. The law gives the child priority. So if that child hungry, the woman hungry, her own husband hungry, but John dropping off at 5, she will share what John bring, but eventually John will want to own her. That's how men are. Men don't give anything for free. Eventually they'll want to come and say, "Well, that's my woman." And the man would have basically by his actions handed over the woman to this new man.
But don't you think that statement that he made was stupid?
What statement? If the man want a man?
Yeah.
It was naive. It was naive because he's not thinking that those men are actually purchasing the wife. Not just food they're buying the wife, they're buying the ownership of the wife. He's too young to understand that. So he's seen it as a free food, well, I tell him, but he's thinking that man could actually end up in bed with his wife because he's giving her money. The person who minding you as a woman, person who minding you and putting food in you have a great advantage over even your husband who is taking care of you.
So, but those are scenarios or situations that, let's just say, if he had, because situations like that sometimes just go up in some of them fellas and them stupid head and
and they
he
want
might
to
want to
hit
kill
and
yeah.
Drink poison and all of that and hang themselves by a belt in their room and all that. Yeah, well, alright, so there's some basic rules, right, that when I'm counseling couples for marriage, I have certain rules and standards. For instance, I will not marry a couple if the guy is hitting the woman. So let's say they were dating for 2 years and he hit her once within that 2 years, one slap. Or he threatens to hit her, get out of my office, one time. I'm not marrying her. Find another pastor. I don't deal with the hitting thing and I don't deal with the threats to hit too. 2, any hint of violence. You sit down watching TV with a man, alright, that is your boyfriend, you sit down watching TV, and some woman in the movie do something real stupid, but it's what women do. Like you start to scream or cry for nothing because it has somebody in the house and the man telling her hush up in the movie. And your man will watch and say, "You hush your mouth, that man hit she a slap." Pay attention to that. Because that is how he will react in a similar situation. Pay attention to all those things. Pay attention to how he comments on other people's situation as to how it should be dealt with. Another thing, relationship is not ownership. That is one of the biggest mistakes men make, and women too. All right, because with that scenario we had this week, women have to be careful when you set yourself up as a paragon of virtue. You going through the man phone, right? You're threatening everybody. Any woman who come around and talk to them, you're threatening them. That is mine, that is mine, that is mine, that is mine, that is mine. And when women talk like that, and when men talk like that, you are really saying that I own you. Not because I'm in a relationship with you, does it mean that I own you. The only ownership you'll ever have is of your own child. And the law gives you until 18, they reach 18. And then they're free to walk away. They say the first 20 years of your life, your parents control that. The second 20, your spouse and your children control that. And the third 20, you get secondary. So you really hardly have any time for yourself in this life. So you have to know that this person I'm getting married to, we have a scenario here where people change their names. I remember I was marrying a couple once, and let's say the girl name is Shelly Ann George and the fella name is Peter John. She signed Shelly Ann John. I said, no, you're not Shelly Ann John. I said, what is your name? She said, Shelly Ann George. She said, but I'm getting married today, so my name changed. She's so hurried. I said, no, your name ain't changing today. It's Shelly Ann George who marrying Peter John. It's not Shelly Ann John marrying Peter John. You know, you start to quarrel with me on the altar. Yeah, but Pastor, I come here today expecting my name to change. I say, that is what you come expecting. I am the marriage officer. I'm telling you, you are Shelly. Give me an ID. I say, one mark on the ID. She said, well, Shelly Ann George. I say, oh, you just want to change your name just so? She said, but it's my husband. You see? You see? You see? You see? You see? All the time she good with Shelly Ann George, you know, as soon as she ready to get married. So I had to explain to her, I say, you have to sign Shelly Ann George. When I register this marriage, right? You could now come and take all your IDs, your driver's permit, your national ID, you could take your passport, and you could go and stand up in a line with your mask, right? Well, there's a mask now, and change all your name to Shelly Ann John. I say, how you plan to change it? She say, well, remember, there's no real names I'm giving you. I can't do that, so that's good. So I said, you're going and go George John? All of this happening with the pen in she hand, which she trail outside the church, right? And I say, where you going to, George John or John? The husband pushing him out. I just telling you where this thing does start. I say she had to drop that Georgia. It's John, it ain't no George again. She had to drop that. You know them start to argue up there. Why I can't keep George on the stage? No, it's a quiet quarrel going on, eh? Music playing, somebody singing some song, and nobody, you know, is a war going on top there, you know. The two of them start arguing. So she signs Shelly Ann George. And I realized, I said, that usually is where the problem begins. People think relationship is ownership. That's why the man wanted to drop George. Use John now to hold on to your father's name. That now translates into a whole ownership scenario where I have the right to go through your phone. I have the right to tell you who to talk to. Who is that you're talking to? And let me tell you something. Research has now shown that the brain of a man doesn't develop until 30, 35. Fully developed. Women are 25, eh? So a lot of women out there, you're dealing with fellas whose brain ain't fully developed. See them young fellas? They're jealous for everything. Who is that? 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 You see, once that start like that, you have to be careful of that. You must have a guy. Choose guys who respect your former relationships. And when you start to date him, if you put Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, out of his thoughts and tell you see, that friend I like he. Anytime a man start to tell you have to drop friends, a woman start to tell you have to drop friends, you're looking at a serious scenario that could have serious consequences. Your spouse must be able to trust you. A car must be able to pull up in front of your gate with another young fella driving it. And your wife say, bye, thanks for the lift. If she walk in the house and you say, who is that? And she said, I'm a friend, he give me a lift. That ought to be enough. Anything other than that, oh, you could have a fella coming in front of you. Nah, no. That is how we end up with the kind of scenarios. We end up with those violent crimes. And the last one we had, right? The last one we had in Coal Mine, where Mr. Man killed his wife, all right? And the daughter say, Mommy, look for that. You remember I come here on this station and I say that? Right? Because I'm my family neighbor. The daughter say, Mommy, look for that. So here you have a little 15, 16-year-old daughter saying that what daddy do, mommy, is right. Daddy take a shotgun and blow off mommy head, you know. And the 14-year-old daughter of 15 years say, Mommy, look for that. And the man tried to kill himself and split his jaw open. He still lie down in Mount Hope. Right? You saw him recently?
No.
Good. He sent for me to pray for him, and I never went. I don't pray for idiots. All right? Because you have to understand as a human being you could get on. Why you can't get on? Look what they do, Jesus. Jesus get on. On the night when they come to kill him, the 12 disciples forsook him and fled. They say we belong to Pilate. It hurt Jesus, but he still had to go and die on the cross so that you and I could live. That should teach everybody that as a flesh and blood human being, you're not God. You're not living with God. You're not living with divinity. You're living with a flesh and blood human being. They have weaknesses. They're subject to all the weaknesses we are all subject to. And it is not your right to go and pick up a cutlass and chop off somebody's daughter head or your children's mother head or take up a gun and shoot somebody. Right? If that is the only recourse you have, you're in a very bad way. Have to learn to live with the facts that every human being is subject to human frailty.
Wow.
You understand where I'm coming from? And relationship is not ownership. You don't own your wife. You don't own your husband. A good horn will teach you that. Because if you feel you own them, let me tell you something. Way back I had a friend traveling all the time. He say, I looking to promote myself, traveling all the time, staying out of the country for 3-4 months at a time. So I call him into counseling. I said, let me tell you something. You see that wife you have there? She's flesh and blood. When you leave for 3 months and 4 months and you flying and sailing all over the world, she have feelings. Every month at a particular time, women go through strong feelings. And for 4 months, she can't get nothing. He tell me, well, I decided to put things in place. I can't call any names. So I said, this was way back. I said, what things I put in place? He said, well, I have a partner who will check she and carry she out. She want to go somewhere. I say, you trust your partner? He say, yes. I say, bring your partner here. I had to meet he and monitor he. So he bring the partner and say, you take a vow to carry out this man wife and thing. Because I know how the man wife does look, partner. Right? Good. Enough snacks in that lunch kit. And I tell the fella, I say, if you're taking a responsibility like that, you know you could be tempted too. So you had to have, he say, I trust my wife. You know the thing work out well?
It worked out well?
It worked out well. The fella never come on the wife and she never give in to him and thing. And when I called them in after for counseling, and that's why I'm telling this story. It's a success story. I was able to preach about it and they tell me go ahead and share it with the world that trust is possible. When I called them and I questioned her, I said, so you really, she said, Pastor, I telling you, I used to get the feelings, but the feelings was for my husband. And the friend he left never come around me. If he'd come around me, I would have put him in any place. And the fella said, you see, so it could work out. So people could really trust one another. However, if she had taken a little dip in the salsa according to the boss, right, he ought to understand that that is possible too. Another thing I want to say to the young men out there, if I had known then what I know now, I would not be such a jealous young fella. I was a real jealous young fella, you know. Nah, me don't want to see nobody wrong, my girl. Me don't want to hear nothing. I used to tell my girl and them, all them man friend you have money and no girl has no friend, you know. All man looking for something.
But you used to say that all the time.
Yeah. So I was dread.
Man, that's how man.
I sit down. I'm making a confession.
Yeah, but
I'm making a confession on the radio station here today. I sit down with a newspapers in my Mazda 626. Right? The car could hardly start or drive. I sit down with a newspapers from 4 o'clock in the morning outside a girl house, waiting to see who dropping she home, because I calling and she ain't answering, and I came to the conclusion that she went out with a fella who I suspect was on she case and who I suspect she like. So I park up way back behind about 3 car, about 4 houses down from her house, and I block in my face with her newspapers anybody pass, because she's not to make me out. I wait. 5 o'clock I wait. 6 o'clock I wait. So I'm waiting for the car to pull up. I say I go in and bounce everybody starter. You know, next thing I see the girl come out of the house about 7 o'clock. She come downstairs with she bag and she walks straight out the road and to go and take a taxi to go to work. You know, she home all the time, she phone us off. So I start the car and I drive up. I say, hey, she said, where you jump out from so early? I said, I was waiting in our car there reading our papers, thinking you went somewhere with so-and-so name. She said, boy, you real dotish, boy. She said, me and he? I said, well, I wasn't believing you. You see, if I had known then what I knew now, and now that I know it, I could confidently say to the young men, especially the young men, 35 and under, 9.99910 times your woman with nobody, boy. They're not having sexual relations with anybody else. Women, is men do that. The thing is that men does do it and they can't take it. They can't take it once when the woman do it. And women will have their friends, but their friends can't come around them, they'll put them in their place. You know, it have a song called One Man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that song is for real. Women, for the most part, women are comfortable in a sexual relationship with one man. I learned that after 40 years of experience. And now I could put a lot of jealous, antsy young men when they come to me, antsy. I could put their fears to rest. And I do. And tell them, nah, forget she. Listen, when you meet a woman, she already have friends before you. It is stupid and foolish to tell her, drop this friend and drop that friend and stop talking to that one. And you're wasting time, because she will find ways to talk to them. And they will continue to talk to her. And if she tell them how you getting on, they'll say, who is that imp say with? Tell he stay out of what we have. Because what they have is before you met him. So I know to calm them young fellas. It's a set of jealousy. And that is why in the Bible, God never chose a prophet who was under 40. To be a prophet, you have to reach 40. God, they want a little boy. They like to chop and kill and hit your drop kick and play Chen Sing and Jet Li.
Well, hear what? I will let them soak in that a little bit and remind them that tonight, the 2nd of October, 8 p.m., is Calypso night here on Iowa Stage. Calypso Rio. Calypso Man Rio will be here will be on Iowa Stage. And you can be a part of it. Just be a part of it on our social media sites. Iowa Stage will be live on the Street 919 FM Facebook page, Neil Iowa George Facebook page, Iowa TV, and the Street on YouTube. Tune into the tune in and be a part of these dynamic series of concerts. Iowa Stage, one-on-one with the artists. Sponsored by Tuco, taking care of business through our music. Panchin Bego and U Store, Lady Hills Avenue, San Fernando. Remember, you can start to send your donations all now on Fund Me TT. Let me see. Wow, Pastor, what? Read. Look, the people sending comment for you. I want you to read some of the comments there. Pastor, so when you get married,
and the priest tells you that the two shall be one, After that, the husband and wife does figure that they own each other. So I think the priest should exempt those words when you get married.
So we're going to the phone lines. We take some calls while we get ready to go for a break. Our 1 o'clock break is coming up, and then we go into our last and final hour here on the Street 919 FM. You have a call online. Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Pastor. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
I should have listened to this what we know here. All right. And I find when you know you and a woman can make it, they don't make no sense. They say from the get-go, there is no what for you, what in for you. They say no, hey, this is what's going to take place. Look at the outside. You look around and it doesn't make no sense. You look around to get angry and you want to chop and shoot and get thing and get tea and that ain't making no sense.
I want to answer this guy.
All right, caller, we come back after this break.
FM.
Right now I'm feeling nice, so nice. Hey, value optical be nice. Yeah, caring for your eyes. Yeah, sure to see a nice, whoa. Yeah, we have the best price and top brands for your eyes. You sure to look real nice, whoa. Yo, this is Vikash for Value Optical, caring for your eyes. Check us out today.
Never in office are going to file me an injunction on public service. But every time a heavy rainfall by me.
Bacchanal in the parang, bacchanal. Now a man with a pan with some sand in his hand was driving a panel van. When Tina stand park up the van, then walking a parang van. So a man from the stand see the man from the van with the pan and sand in his hand. Take away the sand from the man with the pan and throw it on a parang man on the shovel. This is Trinidad Rio. Catch me live on One-on-One Iowa Stage, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram on Friday the 2nd of October from 7 p.m. Trinidad Rio.
Streaming live on Instagram at Iowa George, Facebook Neil Iowa George, and YouTube Iowa TV. It's Iowa Stage.
Trinidad and Tobago, you are in for a treat.
A Christmas treat. This year, tune into 919 FM
to experience a radio production event never heard of or seen before in Trinidad and Tobago.
For the next 91 days, turn on Street 919 FM for a true Trini Christmas every day.